ever wonder if God answers your prayers? Or even if He hears them? I know there have been times that I have questioned just that, even though I know He does. Sometimes I forget how God has worked in my life in the past, so I doubt how He is working in my life now. My family has been on a journey for many years. There is much to this story, so let me just kind of start from the beginning. When Little Bit was a baby, we started noticing some delays. She wasn't on track for pretty much anything. She would only speak 1 or 2 words at a time. She couldn't actually express herself. We would speak to her doctors, and they would just kind of brush us off. So we began praying. We prayed for a miracle in Little Bit's life. Since the doctors were not listening to us, we knew God would. We knew that in Psalms chapter 37, verse 4, that we're told to delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Within the time we began praying, Little Bit was diagnosed with autism. This made sense, but we continued to pray for her sake. 1 year after the first prayer that we had asking God for a miracle, we found a chiropractor. I was having migraines, and so I went to see her. She then offered to also see Little Bit. Within 1 month, we had a completely different child. She was speaking complete sentences, very social, doing things she couldn't do before. God had answered our prayers, but that's not the end of the story. And just to make it clear, our Little Bit still has autism. She wasn't cured. We didn't ask God to take away the autism. We asked God to help us understand her. We asked God to help her be able to do things that she couldn't do. And He answered that prayer. By the time Little Bit was 8, she was doing well. The one thing we were concerned about at the time was her speaking. She would interact and play with people, but refused to speak to them. And when we moved, we saw regression in that area. She went from speaking to multiple people to only speaking to 4, not including family. We were concerned. She was eventually diagnosed with selective mutism. Now we understood a little bit more of what she was going through, and we worked with her. But if there was an option to help her to grow, we were going to seek it out. So we turned back to God. We want Little Bit to be able to talk to people so that she can tell others about Jesus. We want her to be able to talk to people so she can ask for help. We want her to talk to people so that she can feel included. So we called over our elders and our pastor, and we prayed over her and anointed her. We prayed that He would touch her mouth like He did Isaiah to help him speak. We prayed that God would use her voice for His glory. We prayed that if it wasn't His will for her to speak to others, to allow her life to be a witness without words. We asked God to help us accept His answer, and then we waited. We saw a Little Bit open up to a few people. As of 2 weeks ago, she was speaking to about 8 or 9 people. We were thankful for the answers. We assumed God answered us according to His will. She was doing great. But, and this is a big but, God wasn't done. It was a Monday. Little Bit came to me asking me if she could call some friends, and she promised she would talk to them. I doubted her, but I let her call anyway. When their mom answered the phone, she said, "Hi, Miss Diana." I was almost in tears. She spoke to her for about a minute, and then spoke to her friends, and then their dad. Once she got off the phone with them, we began calling more people, and even more people. By the end of the day, Little Bit spoke to 21 new people. And it didn't stop there. The next day, Little Bit continued calling people and speaking to them, even face to face. I have lost track with how many people she has spoken to since she began. Sometimes God answers immediately. Sometimes God says no. Sometimes God says, wait a minute. You won't believe the miracle I have in store for you. And boy, did he show off. If you are waiting for God to answer your prayers, keep waiting. Don't lose faith. He has something in store for you. If you are doubting that he is hearing your prayers, read 1 John 5:14 and 15. And this is the confidence that we have toward him, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. And if we know that he hears us in whatever we ask, we know that we have the request we have asked of him. Remember to pray without ceasing, 1 Thessalonians 5:17. So continue to pray. He will answer according to his will, not ours. Wait on the Lord. Little Bit is still amazing us each day. She will continue to speak. God heard us. This is possible only by God's amazing grace.
Today's verse comes from 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 17. And it says, pray without ceasing. I started with a blank canvas and used different colors of paint: white, vanilla, deep denim, island blue, ocean breeze, deep green black, silver anniversary, and rose gold. I painted them on, used a sponge to go over it all. Then, after it dried, I used 2 different color markers to write the verse on the canvas. I used bronze to write the words of the verse, and I used black to write where the verse was found. So join me as I letter the verse.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. John 3:16.